deadliest, most radio.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
So, no. I mean, I was just saying it's the first Monday after the beginning of the NFL season. The Saints pulled off a win. Rivals to my team. I know you're a huge Saints fan, and I'm a huge fan of Kill Devil Hill. So it's like, I love you guys, but you're a Saints fan. You're a rival, I guess, in a way. But yeah. What'd you think of the performance?
I thought we did well. Defense was good. Derek Carr, he passed for like 300 yards. And
right.
He got a touchdown. I mean, I thought he did great. Defense did great. I mean, Texas was in the playoffs last year, so they're a good team. So I felt pretty good about it. I wish we could have won by,
right.
more than one, but hey,
win's a win. A win's a win. Although I hate to think, I was hoping Carr wouldn't work out, but it's sure looking like he fits right in. He slipped right in seamlessly.
Yeah, I think so. He looked good. He seems pretty positive about what he's doing. I think they've all kind of understand what their positions are. It seems like they played well. Right. We beat a team that was in the playoffs last year, so that's a great start. I mean, like I said, it was only. They won by one, but hey, you know what? Like I said, a win's a win. A
win's a win. I know what you mean, especially being a Falcons fan. So I think there's a rivalry there with those two teams. Having those slobber knockers, as Madden would say, right?
Yeah.
So Kill Devil Hill. Oh my God. Love the band. Love the first two records. In fact, you guys performed in Portland, Oregon on those first two tours. I got to meet you the second go round, which hard to believe it was like a decade ago. Debut album 2012, 2013, the follow-up Revolution Rise, new record. Still, some of the same characters, yourself and Mark. I guess to start off, what resulted in the kind of the disbanding or the hiatus, first of all? Because I know you had Rex Brown, obviously, playing bass, and then Vinny, a piece, not Appice or Peachy, as the uncle would call himself. But anyways, so what led to the hiatus?
Well, Rex wanted to move on and do his own thing as far as playing guitar and singing. We were like, yeah, man, go ahead, do it. Because we love the guy. We're all on great terms. He just wanted to do something different. He'd been playing metal, and he was like, I need to do something different. And we were like, bro, go do whatever it is you got to do. So he ventured off just to play guitar and go solo, which was completely understandable. Which that record that he did was really cool, and I loved it. And Vinny wanted to do more of his drum stuff, and he just, he didn't feel like the band was getting traction. So I think he's used to being in well-established bands at the gate. So I think starting over for him was uncomfortable. It seemed like a little bit, but I can't really speak for him. But he just didn't want to tour. We wanted to continue touring, and he wanted to do something different. So he felt like the band wasn't getting the traction that he wanted. So he decided to move on and do something else. And basically that's it. I mean, in a nutshell,
Did the band really disband, or was it a hiatus at that point? Because I know, like you said, you and probably Mark wanted to keep things going, with the band.
Yeah, we did take a little bit of a break. We didn't want to. We wanted to keep the band going because we knew that we had something that was really cool. We just were having a little trouble getting to where we wanted to go. Right. And, personally for me, it was tough because being in a band like that, I was super excited, and, I was drinking a lot, and I'm now sober. So it was hard for me to kind of get on board and kind of stay focused, if you will. But we took a little bit of a hiatus, and I sobered up. I don't drink anymore, like I said. So it was one of those things where I did that for myself, for personal reasons. Right. And so Mark and I just were like, hey man, you know what? Let's keep this thing going. Mark called was like, look, there's no reason that we can't continue to keep doing this. Well, after we had got Johnny,
yeah, right.
We had Johnny in the band, and then we got Matt in the band, and we were like, there's no reason we should stop. I mean, let's keep
Yeah.
doing this. You know what I mean? So like I said, I sobered up and I got, stopped drinking, and we started writing, Mark and I, and we started coming up with these really cool riffs. And we're like, man, there's no reason we can't do this. Like Mark and I pretty much wrote the first and second album anyway.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We just needed somebody. We just needed a backbone, and we got Johnny back there slamming the drums. We got the God of Thunder, Matt Snell.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yay. And
that's a
Mark's
killer
ripping.
sounding record. Yeah,
Oh,
the
I
new
love
record. I mean, it's equally as good as the first two. So I was kind of curious how that was all gonna transpire. But like you said, if yourself and Mark did the bulk of the writing and stuff from the previous records, then it's probably a pretty good transition to where you guys would be in 2023, right?
Right. It took a long time. We started writing this in, like, I'd say we had a few songs, after Revolution Rise, but like I said, we took that little break, and then Mark and I started throwing some stuff together throughout the years, and then we really started hitting it hard in like 2018, and then 2019, and then of course the pandemic, and we did a lot of writing during that period of time. I was in Mississippi with my mom because I got stuck there.
Oh wow!
My family and my brother, and so I stayed there, and Mark was here in California, so we just wrote and back and forth, and then we just started recording this thing, and it really just came together nicely. I mean, I love this record a lot, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's got kind of a Viking kind of theme to the cover with that ship and stuff. It's called Seas of Oblivion, so I mean, is it in fact Viking kind of inspired, or is that just kind of something you guys came up with?
It just kind of all fell in our lap that way. We didn't really plan anything. We just started writing these songs, and the titles with the lyrics, I was like, man, this is starting to sound like four guys on a ship, just like,
it
out to sea, and then, Seas of Oblivion, and then Blood in the Water.
Right.
And Bitter End, and, Pharmaceutical Sunshine. And then like, it kept coming. And then Mr. Sam Sharon that put the art together came up with that really, really cool piece of art, that crazy pirate ship with the flags and skulls and crosses.
I mean, that'll look good on a t-shirt. I mean, you can never go wrong with stuff like that.
Right. Well, I got a t-shirt for you.
Oh, look at that. So the question I have for you too is, you go through that period where two of the guys, split, go do their own thing. And it's yourself and Mark. At any point, did you consider changing the name of the band, or was it always kind of like, we're going to press forward with the name, since you guys kind of began to establish that? I mean, I think as far as, performance wise, I don't think there was any gripes, as far as the performance end of things and the tunes. I mean, everything was great about that band.
Well, that's funny you say that, because there are a few people that they were in the industry thought we should change it. They're like, well, Rex and Vinny's not there. And we're like, so what? We wrote material. We can keep doing this. You know what I mean? With all due respect to those guys, you know what I mean?
Right.
We Mark and I were like, no, let's just keep the name. Let's press forward. Let's just keep doing this and see what happens. When we're like, we're getting older. It's kind of hard to start over, especially after you've had a little bit of traction, especially, with Vinny and Rex being in the band. It helped us out a lot, obviously. And now we have Johnny and Matt in the band, which is continuing to help us out. So we were like, there was really no need to change the name. We either you're gonna like it or not. It's like, it's like yes or no. Either you want to hear it or you don't. There's so many bands out there. You know how it is. You don't have time to talk about it too much.
I mean, I think the great thing is, if you scan through the record, I think every single tune is going to get your attention, even if you have kind of like short attention span. So I think that's one thing you guys have going for you with this record as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to say, less pressure now releasing this record without some of the other guys, that had their own history than before, or is it more pressure now or less pressure?
I would say there's less pressure. One being that, like I said, I've sobered up and I don't drink, so I have a clear vision of what needs to happen.
Right.
Mark and I were able to come together seamlessly on this thing. Like, there was no issues. We had no problems. it all just really just worked out, with Chris Collier producing and mixing the record,
Right.
and Fluff, James Harley,
Yeah.
jumping in there and helping us out. Love those guys. I mean, we were able to get in there, all six of us, and just we honed in on what we needed to do. We knocked the drums out, and Mark did the guitars at his house. Matt did the bass at his house. I flew to Vegas to Chris Collier's house and stayed there for like 2 weeks and knocked all those all the vocals out, harmonies and everything. I mean, it was really amazing on how quick it came together and how good everything, just seamlessly came together. Just it worked out so nice. No pressure. We had a great time, a lot of laughs. And I'll be honest with you. I think this is personally some of my best work, and I think the guys sound great on this record. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean,
so out of curiosity, I mean, we know Johnny is now stepped in for the late Frankie Banali and Quiet Riot, and they're always playing. I mean, how are you going to work that out between the two different bands, or is there going to be a time where maybe you guys are going to pull in another friend of yours that's a drummer to kind of do the gig or gigs?
Yeah, well, his schedule is pretty hefty. Right now we're just kind of easing into this thing. We got a few shows coming up in Vegas and the Whiskey in Los Angeles, September 21st, which is actually not coming up.
Sure.
So, well, we find little spots. We work around his schedule, and we try to make it work. But if there's a situation where he's double booked, we usually try to pull somebody else in if he can't make it. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah,
we should be doing it,
Yeah, right.
And where we can and when we can,
Yeah, and I know you like you said, change in lifestyle. What kind of precautions would you take yourself? Like you said, no longer a drinker. Or there's certain things that you would modify for yourself in order to keep that intact.
I would say your health, number one. Just being aware of what you're eating, what you're drinking. Get a little exercise, get proper sleep, just take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's all you got. Whether people like the music or not, I mean, your body, you've got to take care of yourself. And, I'll be honest with you, I didn't take care of myself as best as I should when I was younger, because I was young. When you're young, you make bad choices. You regret, and sometimes you have to live with it. But, as you get older, you start wising up and you start realizing, okay, this is how things are supposed to go. I would just say take care of yourself and be a good person. Be a good person. The world's, it's too small of a place to be negative and to be hateful and to be just to bash someone else for, just when you do that, it just shows negativity, and no one needs that in their life, especially me. I don't care about that. I think just being positive, taking care of yourself, just being a good person.
Yeah. So kind of like changing the outlook on things is basically, yeah. So, thinking ahead, I know you plan on doing shows to promote the record, like you said, Whiskey and something in Vegas coming up.
Vamped in Vegas.
There you go. I kind of figured
September
it was going to be that place.
I got to throw that in there.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, we'll throw that in there. But how much of the new record do you hope to feature in a set list? I mean, I'm not asking you to say songs, but how much?
I'll tell you, we're going to do, I think, 5 or 6 songs on this new set.
Oh, wow.
We're doing like 14 songs, or
wow.
I think we might be playing 15 songs. It's about an hour and 30 minutes, maybe give or take a few here and there.
Sure.
We got some off the first album, some off the second album, Revolution Rise, and then we got, of course, Seas of Oblivion.
Yeah.
I wanted to play all new songs, but they're like, all right, hang on, the break.
Sure.
Because you play those songs forever and ever, and you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of playing the song, but people want to hear it.
Well, and that's kind of unique in this day and age, because as you know, I mean, you remember back in I don't know how old of a guy you are, but I know I used to go to shows like in the mid 80s, 90s, and they'd feature the new stuff prominently. And as the years progress, now it's like they feature one song off the new record, and it's like, well, that kind of bums me out, but it's great.
It's tough though, because that's the thing that Mark and I discussed. We were like, Mark approached me. He's like, here's what I think we should do. We should just drop one song every 4 weeks for like 4 months, so we can kind of spread that out.
Oh, right.
It's like you said, everyone's attention span, they're just scrolling. They're like, if you can't catch someone's attention, it's like, forget it. It's like, you're done. So we split it up, you know, one song, next song, next song, next song, which
Hmm.
brings me to our next release, which is going to be, let's see, is it the 13th of September? I think it's the 13th of September. I have to look at my notes.
Hmm. Okay.
It's going to be our new song, Pharmaceutical Sunshine. It's going to drop.
Okay. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's a really, really, really good song. You know, my brother passed away in 2021, and you know, there's a lot going on in the world with the opioid epidemic
Hmm.
happening, and it's just terrible that myself and Mark's family and my family have had
Hmm.
issues with that, and so we decided let's write a song about it. So we did, and it's called Pharmaceutical Sunshine, and we're really happy with it.
Right.
They're going to debut it on KLOS 95.5
Okay.
on September 17th. I believe Eddie Trunk is going to debut that song on his show as well, which
Oh, wow.
thank you guys so much for that.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
we're just trying to get it out there. We really think that this song is going to help us out a lot because it's completely different from anything you've ever heard us do.
Hmm.
So, and that's another thing about this record. We're not like heavy all the way through. We try to change
Sure.
things up a little bit, do some
Right.
harmony, do some singing, lay off the screaming, try not to be heavy. It's like, okay, we've done that. Let's do
Hmm.
something. Let's play straightforward. You know, Johnny's just killing on the drums, like staying in the pocket, playing so good. And Mark
Right.
sounds good. And like I said, Matt's bass sounds good. It's gonna be great, man.
Nice.
It's so
Yeah,
tough.
that's great. Nice. And you're right. I mean, I think the big thing right now is fentanyl. Dirt cheap, and just a whiff
Terrible.
of that stuff can knock you out for good.
It's sad. It really
Yeah.
is. I mean, I know that, like I said, myself and other people around the world have struggled with addiction and things like that. And nowadays you have to be careful because you will die, and it's
Hmm.
no joke. And it's sad. So, if anybody is out there struggling and with addiction or any type of mental illness, please reach
Hmm.
out, talk to somebody. Um, it's tough, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. You're no kidding. Yeah. And the fentanyl's turning up in everything, it seems like,
yeah,
and stimulants and opioids and even cannabis, believe it or not. It's crazy. But
it's sad, But there's a song we
yeah.
wrote about it, Pharmaceutical Sunshine, and this album is dedicated to my brother, like I said, who passed away in
Hmm.
2021. He passed away of liver disease, so I dedicate this record to him, and we're really
Yeah.
excited. I mean, I mean, we had a long break, but I think we came back, and I think
Yeah.
here we
Came,
are.
came back
We're gonna have
strong,
it.
man. I mean,
Yeah,
it's solid record. So
yeah,
no
we're happy.
complaints here. You know,
Awesome.
So a couple more things, and then I'll cut you
Sure.
loose because it was
Oh,
a
it's
good
all
time
good.
talking to you. One of the things that had happened, I know you at some point had started collaborating with Bill Ward, and I remember that you guys had a show scheduled for Dante's in Portland, Oregon, and I had marked it on my calendar, and then he had his heart stuff. I
Yeah.
think that's what happened, and then that got canceled, got basically scrapped. I think the project got scrapped. How far along did you guys get with that project? Had you done any recording? Because I mean, at that point, there was no actual music out, and you guys were performing. I forget the name of the band that you guys had put
Day
together,
of
but yeah.
Errors.
Oh, there you go. Sounds like
But
my life.
me and you both, right? Yeah. But he also had the Bill Ward band, But yeah,
Yeah.
he has that guy is, first of all, I love Bill Ward. Who doesn't
Mm.
love Black Sabbath?
Right.
Um, Bill Ward has got to be the sweetest man on earth. Let me just say that right now. It was an honor and a privilege to work beside him and be in the same room with him and hear his life stories and Black Sabbath stories. And he's just a kind human being. But that guy writes music non-stop. It's
Hmm.
amazing. It's a writing machine, lyrical genius.
Hmm.
I mean, just listen to any of his all those
Yeah.
lyrics, all that lyric, all the lyric, all the writing, all the music. That's all Bill. It's just like he's
Hmm.
like, do this, do this. And we're like, all right, whatever
Yeah.
you do. It's amazing. But yeah, there was a lot of material. I mean, he never stops writing, never stops.
Wow.
He's always got something new. It's amazing.
Is
Yeah,
that as was there any stuff that was recorded with between you guys and the band and Bill?
yeah. But there was some stuff we put out on Apple Music. I think he put a couple of songs out, and I did some guest singing on some of the Bill Ward band stuff. He's got so
Okay.
much material
Oh yeah.
recorded it, and that was a few years ago, so it's tough for me to really remember. I know we did a lot of recording. He did a lot of recording, but as far as what's coming out, I have no idea.
I was
You know,
just thinking of a trivia question or answer, I should say. Name a singer that's worked with both Bill Ward and Vinny a piece, and that would be you and Dio.
yeah,
you know, that's got to be a trip, huh?
yeah, it's an honor. Working with Vinny was an honor. Vinny's a really, really good guy, great drummer. Um, and obviously Ronnie James Dio's one of the best metal
Yeah.
singers of all time. But yeah, it's an honor and a privilege. I'm happy to have had the opportunity to work with both those guys, and hopefully I'll get to work with Vinny again maybe one day. You never know. So
Right. No kidding. Yeah, there's always stuff. I mean,
yeah,
I had to think of what a great pairing. You got Kill Devil Hill and then Last in Line doing gigs together. I
yeah,
mean, think about that.
yeah. Those guys, I love those guys. They're great. They're great. They sound great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I
So
saw them at the Whiskey about a year ago. But
yeah, I've seen them a couple times. I mean, I like the fact too that they've now recorded some original material, and now it's more original material, and some of the Sabbath stuff
yeah,
in there. But yeah, overall good stuff. I
yeah,
mean, so it sounds like you're planning on about 14 tunes in the set. You're
yep.
going to feature material off Seas of Oblivion prominently, which I'm a fan of. Always new stuff. That way it keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got a couple gigs. We'll note those and bookmark those and post links to social media where you can get the record, band
Please do.
website, all that stuff, and then we'll get that to you. The one thing I wanted to close with, because I always ask folks about a potential Spinal Tap moment that might have transpired. I'm sure you've had many. I know you said earlier on during the first couple tours you were probably consuming a little bit more adult beverages than you probably should have.
Oh
Is
yeah.
there a particular thing that happened on any of those tours that stands out, and how did you bounce back from that particular crisis?
Um. Well, I don't know if I can even say this, but how would I
Uh-oh.
say this without embarrassing myself? Let's just say one night I had such a great show and a great time that
Mm-hmm.
uh I think I ended up in the front lounge, like
Oh, no way.
had too
Oh,
much to
wow.
drink and was like asleep and just woke up. I'm like, where am I? Something like that.
Yeah.
I think I might have even been in my underwear, maybe.
Oh no.
Might have been terrible.
Don't
That's
those guys
that's
did
one of the reasons why you don't drink anymore.
That's probably true. And
Yeah.
and hopefully nobody captured that. Now in the
No.
age of cell phones, snap a few photos and next you
Oh
got an
man.
embarrassing moment online, right?
Oh, trust me, I haven't. I can embarrass myself. I don't need anyone's help.
There you go. Life,
No,
what's that one saying? Life is hard enough. Don't make it harder by making stupid choices.
exactly.
Right? Yeah. Oh man. Hey, thank you so much, man. It was a blast. It's good talking to you. We'll post the link, get it to your PR person. Hopefully
Thank
you
you.
share it. Hopefully down the way there's a Portland date, because like I said, you stopped in Portland for the first couple tours. So obviously it'd be awesome to have you guys back.
Well, we're excited to be back, and thank you very much for this interview. We greatly appreciate your time as well, and thank you.
Right. Thank you, Dewey. And gosh, I don't want to wish the Saints good luck, but they did look
Ah,
good.
they did. I love this. Go Saints. Who that?
Yeah, I can't wait for the Falcons Saints matchup coming up here. So match one of two.
Yeah, looking
That's
forward to
always
it.
a good time.
Totally
Always
looking.
stressful too for me, because I
Yeah,
think you guys have gotten the best out of the Falcons like the last 6 or 7 times, I
it
think.
goes back and forth,
It
right?
does go back and forth.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. All right, man. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye bye.